Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. We are still in Denmark, and today we got a very special session because we are in Kloster, which is the fastest spot in all of Denmark. And it is because the water level here behind me, let me turn down the aperture so you can see a little bit more. The water here is super shallow, and on top there's a big weed carpet. And on the weed carpet you can go very fast because the weed just basically kills all the waves. We have a windy day with the perfect direction. It's blowing 20 to 35 knots today. And because it is so shallow, I had to prepare a special fin today. So this is a 29 centimeter fin, and you can see this is probably around, I would say, 21, 22 centimeters now. But from the area, you can see it still has more area than a 29 centimeter fin, so should still be okay. So it's very hard to tell here how windy it is, and I'm still considering if I take the 6.0 or the 7.0. I'm thinking for now I'm going to go on the 7.0 because it doesn't look super windy. The wind is supposed to kick in a little bit later, but yeah, I think with the 7.0 we're on the safe side. I'm really curious if this fin is going to work that I just sawed off, if I sawed it off in the right angle, because I think I did a little negative, and then it should be a lot of turbulence also because the tip is very thick. So questions over questions. How fast can we go here today? Let's find out. All right, the wind is kind of up and down with the rain squalls coming through, but I think for now I'm going to go on the 7.0, and then I think we can go 40 knots here if the fin is going to work. It's coming! It's coming! The wind just totally increased when I was finished rigging up the 7.0, and so I decided to rig the 6.0, so I have the 6.0 ready now. And now we're gonna head out and go for some speed runs. Let's hope that this fin is gonna work. Alright, so instead of just putting music over the video like I usually do, I decided to just do a voiceover this time. And yeah, just share a little bit my thoughts and what I was feeling during the session. And immediately you can see me here that I forgot to take my harness because I was so excited to head out. Speed surfing sessions on the fin for me is just the most fun that windsurfing can be, just this adrenaline of speed. So I'm often very nervous when I know I will get a good speed session. And on this spot I really didn't know what I was gonna expect, how fast I was gonna go, all that stuff, because it's the first time that I'm sailing here. And you can also see my sister there in the background. She was also joining me for the session since we did a kind of family holiday here, and now I'm going for the first run. And you can see me outside of the foot straps and outside of the harness lines because I just wanted to check first the water level, because I knew with northwest wind this spot will have a decreased water level because the wind is pushing out the water from the north side of the fjord into the south side. So I didn't want to like commit, go in the foot straps and immediately crash it. That's like stupid. So I'm just like hooking out, checking how deep it is. If I touch anywhere with a fin, that was like 22, 23 centimeters now. But yeah, it was pretty all right. But of course you don't know, are there going to be like little stones, or is there any parts where it's going to be deeper? So it took me quite a while to build confidence on the spot that I was not going to touch the bottom of the fjord and that I could actually sail. So when I gained this, here you can see I'm going for the first little run in a section that I checked that it's deep enough. And yeah, you can see just how flat it is. So in this first run I'm doing 35 knots. So that was pretty promising for the session because that was not the strongest gust. And I knew this could be good today. I didn't touch the bottom, and the fin actually felt okay. It was like not perfect because the weed fin in itself doesn't give so much lift, so the board doesn't ride really freely. But when you're like on the small kit that I'm on here, the 97 liter board, and the water is flat like it is right here, you don't really need the biggest fin and the fin with the most lift. And what I do to adjust for conditions like that, where I have to sail a wheat fin or even a cut-off wheat fin like here, is that I tend to put the boom a little bit higher and the mast base a bit further back. And both of these things give me a little bit more lift and make the board ride a little bit more free that the fin in itself cannot do. Because, yeah, it obviously doesn't get a lot of lift. So here I'm going for another speed run. And yeah, it's just so beautiful, so flat. The sun was even shining for parts of the day, and yeah, I'm going 1 knot faster, 36 knots now. And just like, it's so easy to sail in this that you cannot imagine. It's like, yeah, just sailing on a pancake. I don't know what a good metaphor is. And even the jibes, everything is super smooth and fun. And yeah, I'm slowly just building confidence on the spot, because it's very important to feel safe if you're going somewhere new that you haven't sailed before, that you have a good feeling. Because if you don't have a good feeling, you're not willing to fully push, because you will be scared in your mind, and that's when usually the crashes and mistakes are happening. So for me, it's very important that I have good timing, that I'm early to the spot, that I can check all these things out before the real wind hits. And that's exactly what I did here. So this run, how fast is it? Let's see, 35. Yeah, just another 35 knot run. Of course, you still need the gust in these flat spots. Just by it being flat, you will not go fast. You also need the right gust and find it on the water to go really far downwind. Alright, this one looks a bit more windy. And yeah, I think you can really feel the speed in this point of view. 37 knots. So even 1 knot faster. I'm slowly getting there. Like I said before, I wanted to reach 40 knots because I have done plenty of times 39.5, 39.9 I think.
Oh, so fun. I did in the first runs 37.7 knots max. My sister is over there, but I think her fin is too big, so she needs a bit more fin. And yeah, it's hard to get lift from the fin, so you have to ride kind of differently. I put the boom a bit up to get more lift that way, and I really need a gust. Then it's so epic to ride here, but it's also super shallow. Here it's deep, but over there it's only like 30 centimeters.
So yeah, like I said, there was like kind of a section right in the beginning where it was a bit deeper, and then there was the section that I'm on here with my sister that is a lot more shallow, so the water is just reaching to the knee, and that's why I needed to cut the fin, obviously. And it's actually not the most challenging to ride in these conditions, because it's just so flat that nothing much is happening in the board, and it's easy to keep control. But what I feel in sessions like this you can do really well is to like really fine-tune your stance and technique, and also just like figure out, okay, if I change this, what is it actually doing? Because it will not be kind of the wave that takes out the speed, and so you like eliminate one element that is changing all the time in a run with waves. Like every time you will hit the waves different, so your speed changes, and you just eliminate this and can really work on your stance to go faster and faster. So that's what I really like about these super flat water sessions. Alright, going for another one. 32 knots here, 33, 34. Let's see if we can go faster than the 37 that we did. Now I'm hitting 37. And 40 knots it shows on the display. I think on the GPS it said 39.7 or something, or 8. So I was still below 40 knots on the actual 2-second max speed here. But I knew now, okay, this is gonna be good. And that 40 knots is possible for sure on this day. And even the jibes are just super fun, like because you can do lay down jibes, you can actually do a lot of mistakes in your jibes and still come out planing. And it's super good to learn jibes in flat water, because yeah, it just allows you to make more mistakes. And here I'm hitting again 39 knots. So again, not 40 knots, but I'm getting there. I just need the right gust basically. And what I saw this day is that you really had to pay attention to what the clouds above were doing, because there were rain squalls coming through all the time, and then there were sections like now with a little bit of blue sky. And usually after the rain, the wind goes down. Then when the blue sky is showing, the wind increases a little bit. And then when you see the next kind of clouds rolling in, before the next rain shower, is usually when the gusts are the strongest. And it was totally like this that day, and you really had to time it well, that you did your runs when these kind of cloud systems hit, because then the wind would increase up to 10 knots. And in and after the rain, it would sometimes decrease to like 15 knots that I couldn't even plane. And yeah, I'm just cruising behind my sister here to check out her stance, help her a bit with her technique. She was not feeling super confident, I think, because she had a longer fin than me, and it was very little water under her fin, maybe like only 2-3 centimeters. So she was actually not enjoying the session too much, even though it was super flat and fun. But if you're like scared, like I said before, it's really bad for your confidence. But yeah, it was still super fun to share some runs with her here. So yeah, I was also trying to get a good alpha speed. Alpha is like the distance over 500 meters, including a jibe, so it's basically our fastest jibe. This jibe was actually pretty good, because my top speed was only 25 knots going into the jibe and not like 35, but I still made a really smooth jibe, because sometimes when you do the slower jibes and still come out planing, that's when you learn the most about jibing. It's really important to not kind of stall the sail by holding on too long and initiating the shift early enough, and just about timing, driving basically. Yeah, just all about timing. When do you flip the sail, when do you switch the feet? And you can feel it in these conditions really well when you're like shifting the sail a tad bit too late. Then you're stalling the sail and the speed decreases very, very quickly, and you can work on that really well. So another run, another not so fast run, but you can see like on the top, I'm watching for the gusts, and now I can see, okay, there's a bit more wind rolling in. So I'm only like slowly going downwind in the gust to build up the speed into the slingshot. And yeah, another nice one, 37 knots, but still not 40. So here we go. I think this is the one where we finally broke the 40. You can see on the top there's like this darker bit of water, so that's where the gust is at. And now I'm sailing into the gusts from the back and really accelerating nicely down into the gust, which is also long enough, which is important for speed. And that's when I finally broke the 40 knots. I think on this one I did 40.69. So I really nicely broke the 40 knots by more than half a knot on the 97 board, which is really amazing this year. I think it's the best 97 I've ever ridden. With a proper fin and in like La Palme conditions, I think there's still a lot more speed to be had. But yeah, I was super happy here that always when you see the 40 knots on the display, it's really, really fun. And yeah, I think I sailed a little bit later in the session when the camera was off. I sailed a little bit faster, but only like 40.7 something, so almost the same. So that was kind of the max for the day, and the wind also kept increasing from here on out. So was not getting faster from this point. But for sure it's a spot with plenty of potential, like the GPS results show. I'll put them up on the screen now for those of you that are interested in the actual speeds. I will for sure be back here, and next time hopefully with a little bit better prepared fin, as I did have the odd spin out today, even one at 40.5 knots, and I think that was caused because I just basically cut the tip and sanded the fin for like maybe 5 minutes, so the tip was very thick and wide, and this of course creates turbulence and can cause the spin out much sooner. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.